Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon, crypto, and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. Now we are joined by... Get my lights to turn off. We are joined by 10th Man, Neil, Refracted Curvature, Righteous Force, and a whole bunch of people in Discord. So welcome, one and all.
Hello, hello.
5 more hours.
Hey, good morning.
Who comes to say hello and say 5 more hours? Who does that? Oh, Neil.
Nearly C.
Oh.
Alrighty then.
Destroy your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentations of their women.
Okay.
With the lamentations of the women.
¿Está por ahí? Ya, hay que ver dónde está el switch, porque eso tiene que tener un switch. ¿Puedo ver?
Alright, this familiar sounds of someone off mute in Discord. Happy days. You're off
I
mute,
thought
Digger.
that was some
76.
foreign legion. I thought that was some foreign legion.
Let's do a bit of housekeeping, see if I can retain control of the show within 5 minutes of going live. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge that's a horizon, formerly known as the curve of the Earth?
Well,
No.
no, but some people still think that Earth curve is the horizon.
Una pinza ahí.
And there's other people that don't point it out.
Una pincita, sí. Ya, está
That's
bien.
what I meant, Darwin.
Like yesterday. Like they never pointed out.
Yes.
Yeah, you should know. Like, hey, you could have said Black Swan like every few minutes in that entire thing, but they didn't. Because I guess they don't watch this show.
The question is why? Why not?
Because
Why
they
not?
don't like to have good arguments that they didn't make up themselves.
Talking about people who want to be the purveyor of the reasons, whys, and wherefores of claims made by globe believers. That's what's being discussed currently if you're not following along as an audience. So, if you have a positive claim laid down, for instance, there's an Earth curve edge blocking the sun, rather than taking apart the positive claim that Earth curve blocks the sun, there's a tendency by some to favour punting their own belief about what causes that effect, in spite of the fact there's no positive claim being made or required to be made about the horizon, what it is, how it operates, how it functions in regards to the sun. None of those things are required. What is required is to take apart the claim that's being made and is believed by the Western world majority. That is to say that Earth curve blocks the sun. You need to take that apart. Now, Arwin and Neil are questioning, why wouldn't you just do that? If you're a flat earther, why don't you just debunk the Earth curve? We would do it by saying Black Swan. If the Earth's a sphere radius 3959, then every distance to horizon measurement can be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. We've got imagery that shows it's beyond the geometric limitations of that sphere radius 3959. It's called the Black Swan. Horizons that are Earth curve blocking things like the sun don't move beyond the things they block. We only have to show that it's not physically blocking something it should be in front of once. Hence the Karl Popper analogy. We only need one black swan to show that not all swans are white. Not all horizons are physically blocking things because they're geometric Earth curve edges. We've debunked it. 1st Jan 2020. Why wouldn't you use this argument? Rather than postulating what you think the horizon is or how you think the horizon behaves. You don't have a positive claim, flat earthers. Why are you talking about the horizon? Oh, because globers claim it's Earth curve. So just debunk it. It's not Earth curve. We do that here. We debunk Earth being a sphere by pointing out the Earth curve they claim proves it's a sphere when it blocks boats, buildings. Yeah, we debunk it. Black Swan.
Well, it is useful whenever your opponent needs you to make a claim so he can hold that claim up against his and false dichotomy. It's very useful if a flat earther makes a claim outside of what is necessary.
Correct. So what John's pointing out is that
So
often
the sun is not going behind the horizon then?
the horizon's not Earth curve. We've debunked it. It's not a physical geometric limitation to your view at 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. Because if it was, it would always be blocking whatever's behind it at the rate they claim it blocks it when they show you the Earth curve maths and say it's blocking something in the distance like the sun. If it's beyond the geometric limitations laid down in those maths, i.e. this is the geometry of where a hill gets in the way of the boat. Well, hills don't move behind the boat or behind the building, or in the case of the Black Swan imagery, behind the oil rigs. They're fixed into the ground, and if there's a fixed hill at a fixed height getting in the way, it will always get in the way. That's what they're claiming. You only have to show that it isn't in the way to prove it's not an Earth curve edge obstruction. So yeah, we debunked it, Arwin. But what John's saying is it's far more convenient for someone who is postulating that the horizon is Earth curve blocking boats and buildings to have you make a positive claim as a flat earther about what you say the horizon is. Because then he can just, or she can just attack your positive claim that you've got no requirement to make beyond what? Explaining how it isn't their claim? No, you just debunk their claim. The horizon is not Earth curve. We only have one horizon. And the horizon, marked on screen right now, with their example in Muppet Vision, is claimed to be a physical geometric limitation to this boat. Therefore, if it is, the blockage here will never be beyond the boat at that height, because it's a physical hill getting in the way according to the claim. So you've only got to show it beyond its limitations as a hill Earth curve once. Go on, Owen.
So Nathan, are you saying that making a statement like, no, you don't understand perspective, the sun is just going away and becoming smaller over the flat earth because of perspective, are you saying that's not a good counter argument against the
I'm
globe
saying that'll
earth
get you
then?
shouted at by me as a very well-established and capable debater of this subject. Because postulating what you think the bloody horizon is inconsequential, because we couldn't give a crap what you Muppet flat earthers think the horizon is. Oh, you think it's a diffraction limit. You think it's an ether band. You think it's... You are not the arbiter of the Western world view in regards to the horizon. It's claimed to be Earth curve. All you flat earthers out there listening need to do is debunk that, like we do. Not pretend to be some guru arbiter of what the world does. You don't need to do that. You just need to debunk the positive claim that the whole bloody world believes in. And that's that the horizon, marked with an X, labelled horizon on screen now, below surface level, that is not the horizon we see. Your horizon is not Earth curve, as depicted on screen. If it was, it would be at 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. That's what this maths is. This is the maths to show you what will be hidden behind the hill that is claimed to be the horizon, marked with an X at the point that the hill gets in the way. No, we've shown it's beyond where the thing would be hidden. If this is the oil rig hidden by a hill, the hill's never going to be behind the oil rig. That's what the Black Swan shows. Therefore, it's not a hill. It's not Earth curve. We debunked it. Further to that, I'll hand over to John. We've got marked in their maths a necessity for a surface level parallel with eye level. Why would a flat marked as surface level be in this maths, John?
Well, that's how they derived Earth curve, was the differential between the two flat planes. The horizon is at surface level by definition. It's where the surface and the sky meet, so it has to be part of surface level.
Meanwhile, in this maths, we've got a horizon below surface level, calculated mathematically from the differential from eye level parallel with the surface level. We don't see below surface level, but mathematically you can talk about a horizon derived with a straight line. Hey, Rufy, you seen this straight line here? Is that a trick too? Yeah, anyway. A straight line to a hill getting in the way. We've debunked that 1st Jan 2020. So Arwin's asking, if that's the case and we can just debunk their positive claim that the horizon's Earth curve, is it a good idea to start suggesting how the horizon's formed with perspective effects? No, definitely not, Arwin. No need for you to postulate a positive claim. Fascinating stuff that we have walked along the path of, a journey of discovery for us, because we were vaguely interested in how the horizon works, given that there's a claim we've debunked from Earth as a sphere with a edge blocking boats. I mean, obviously now we know that's not the case. We wanted to investigate further. But should we be put on the spot and justify these potential claims we're not making? Definitely not. Oh, no, but that wasn't your question. Should I put it in rebuttal to somebody who's claiming that Earth curve edges get in the way of boats? And definitely not. Just debunk that claim,
right.
Arwin.
I thought so. Thank you for elaborating.
I would just like to say, welcome back, Nathan. Welcome back.
Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
Good morning, guys.
Hey, Chocolate.
Well, I'm glad
No,
you brought that up because there's claimed to be 2 reference frames by numpty flat earthers and by globers. Do we experience 2 reference frames?
No, there'd be a Coriolis deflection, the one they claim exists, like they claim there's a geometric physical obstruction called the horizon below surface level. They also claim that we are turning beneath things as a non-inertial turning reference frame to cause the not actual deflections of things like footballs that will deflect into goals because Earth turns beneath them. I mean, obviously, if that was true, as Neil deGrasse Tyson states, with an example of a ball being deflected as a result of Earth's rotation, then Earth would be rotating under the blimp filming the game. And a different continent would come to the blimp as it just hovered there. And flights would have their flight times reduced massively as Earth turned beneath them like they're claimed to turn under the football. It doesn't, we're not experiencing Earth as a non-inertial turning reference frame. If we did, we'd see Coriolis like they claim we do, and we don't. There is no Coriolis deflection observed because we're turning beneath things. We're not turning beneath things. The ground isn't moving beneath things. Ever. The ground isn't moving. We'd notice.
But in that claim, not only do they need Earth to have a radius, but they need an inertial frame of reference outside of the non-inertial reference frame, which they claim now that Earth and atmosphere are moving in lockstep. What would that area where there is no air or atmosphere or gas, what would that area be called?
Outer space. If you're saying that they have a non-inertial reference frame turning with atmosphere, sphere-shaped air attached to said non-inertial turning reference frame, rotating with it, and beyond outer space, a second law of thermodynamics violation, sky vacuum, to look back on both Earth and atmosphere as a non-inertial turning reference frame. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, if that was the claim that anti-flat earthers made.
That
Why would that be
anti-flat
wrong?
earthers make. Okay. Yes, that is a claim that anti-flat earthers make. Unfortunately, gas is unbonded. So while they might say Earth is a band around a presupposed spherical surface with a radial value undefined to give me this axial rotation and non-inertial turning reference frame with gases attached. Now, gases don't do that. Gases are unbonded, not only to the surface, but not even bonded to themselves. You haven't got gas moving around in pairs or clumped together. If they did, they'd be defined as a different state. That's not what gas does.
Well, does gas fill space?
Yes.
And would you have an inertial frame of reference if gas filled space with the claim that they're making?
Gas does fill space, ergo the gas that's being described as a band around a non-inertial turning reference frame turning with it, ergo Earth and atmosphere, sphere-shaped air move as one, would mean that you would have to be in a second law of thermodynamics violation with the gas not filling the available volume that you're occupying to see them rotating together in violation of gas law, because gas is unbonded. It doesn't bond to an Earth to turn with it. And you couldn't view it because you'd have to be in a violation of natural law, sky vacuum, watching gas not fill the space you're in. So none of this makes any sense. Further to that, the actual globe claim is that Earth is turning beneath the atmosphere and balls that are in it, for you to see the effects of Earth rotation beneath the ball that's not attached to Earth. It's called Coriolis. So while anti-flat earthers might describe this nonsensical scenario where you can go to a second law of thermodynamics violation sky vacuum to watch Earth as a non-inertial turning reference frame and atmosphere bonded to it turning with it also as the non-inertial turning reference frame, for you in the inertial reference frame of space that doesn't exist to see things not deflecting because they're moving with the atmosphere. That's in complete contradiction to Neil deGrasse Tyson's example with a football actually deflecting. That would be to say that you see it turning as you're moving underneath the ball to see that path. Yeah, well, that isn't happening either because it would shorten flight times. We'd
Makes
notice.
sense. Yeah, go on, Chocolate.
No, I was just gonna say it sounds like a nice okie doke. It's like why would the same people that believe that there is this apparent deviation literally take away the parameters that would create that deviation?
Because they don't believe it. That's why you're stuck here with us like Simon Dan in this pit. Because you don't believe it either, do you, Simon Dan? To the point where you'll tell me that the reference frames that are used by the globe Earth to claim we've got Earth and atmosphere turning separately to cause balls to deflect when they leave the ground, as Neil deGrasse Tyson examples, you'll tell me, bearing in mind that's a Neil deGrasse Tyson claim, not mine, that my reference frames, actually Neil deGrasse Tyson's, are ruined. Yeah, because they need to be here, separated from everybody else. Because they're just as dangerous. Simon Dan telling the world that there's no reference frames, they're ruined, on Twitter, to me, that's dangerous. Also very stupid. I mean, Dan is stupid. But
while simultaneously providing you a video not showing deviation. Also.
Yes, showing no Coriolis effect, no drift, showing me how there's examples of things not drifting through goals because of Earth's rotation to prove that we're spinning, as Neil deGrasse Tyson gave as an example. No, Simon Dan shows me things not drifting and says, ha, reference frames ruined. What the globe ones that are used to claim we've got Coriolis effect we don't see. Yeah, you, like me, know we don't see it though, don't you, Dan? There's nothing drifting. So you better quickly show me things not drifting. Yeah, that doesn't prove we've got Coriolis effect though. That's what's claimed to happen. Dan's just stupid and didn't understand the claim of Coriolis effect when he showed me things not drifting to tell me that the reference frames used by the globe are ruined. Thick.
Or maybe it is they understand and they just have to try to, they have a little bit of an audience that they have to try to appease. So they just play the okie doke on. Tell us that, our reference frames are ruined. And then tell his audience that, yeah, of course we have Coriolis.
Well, Coriolis would be a deflection, we observe. We don't. So there isn't.
Yeah. You brought up gas in space and the availability within that. So since gas fills the available space and we have gas pressure here on Earth, what does that tell you about our space?
Second law of thermodynamics does not apply to the globe Earth. Thanks, Rumpus.
No, I'm searching for how gas pressure, because this segue to go to the next housekeeping question. So gas will fill any available space, and we have gas pressure. Do we not here on Earth?
Yes.
Yes.
So is our space enclosed like the walls of a container in order to give us gas pressure?
They must be.
Well, then there's space, outer space, which is a vacuum. All this gas would go out into that available space, but it's not. So there is a barrier giving us gas pressure. So if you can highlight space versus outer space, it's a space within a container where gas fills and gives us pressure, but not outer space where it would just fill that as well. But then you need a container for a vacuum, right?
Yes, you do.
So what's their claim again? Earth is a rotating ball with gas pressure and outer space vacuum right next to it with no barrier. How does that work? Sounds like pseudoscience.
A ball with water sticking to the outside of it and then air sticking to the outside of that. How's that for a fantasy story?
Listen, Neil deGrasse Tyson explains how a star is formed. You got gas in outer space. Come on.
Listen, they mock us as pseudoscience because they have hijacked science, and they're the ones with pseudoscience.
They totally are. Can we go back to the Earth rotation question for a second? We got a couple of chat games in Discord. You know, Discord's back when you got some chat games.
Cool. Also, guys in G Plus, for some reason, even though I've subscribed to be a premium member of G Plus and have whatever amount of time I'm supposed to need, it's saying that the call's going to end in 6 minutes. I've just gone and tried to resolve it, but it doesn't seem to want to. So for whatever reason, oh, I know why. Oh, it's because I lost my credit card and changed the details. Oh, goddamn. My payment for G Plus has not gone through. And therefore this call will end in 6 minutes. 5 minutes. So, yeah, if you can you join Discord just for today until I resolve that payment issue, which I can't resolve on the fly?
How do you get on Discord? Where is it?
Where's what?
Discord, is it a new
Yeah,
is
there's
it
a
the
link.
same pseudo sign
Yeah,
for
there's a link in Masturbators.
Okay.
Oh, did we retire Gilded?
No, not at all. Gilded's still very much in active service. It's just for the now we've transferred over to back over to Discord. So we're back on Discord now until that's crap, and then we'll move back to Gilded. But Gilded was giving us too many technical issues as far as I was concerned. It was a hindrance, and the extra sound quality. Now we're back on Discord. Doesn't seem like it was as good as I maybe thought it was. Doesn't seem to be that much better. But anyway, yes, we are.
Well, I'm going to pray that God blesses your credit card, not damages it. How's that?
No, I just lost it and then cancelled it and then found it in my coat pocket about an hour after cancelling it.
I know, Nathan. I'm just saying in a polite way, you didn't need to blaspheme.
Yeah, I'll sort that out. I just don't know how to do it on the fly. I can't find how to get into the billing information page.
And
It's like,
So,
And you guys got-
the show is up. So we're all going to go to Discord after this 5 minutes or 4 minutes just left.
yes, if you don't mind.
right, and just say there's a voice verify. Just hop in and say hello, and then I can just set you guys up to see the rest of the server.
Can you start doing that now, just so the conversation doesn't dry up as there's a transition period? And maybe Arwin, if you can do
Well,
that.
I got Neil in here. If Neil can say hello on the voice verify section. I mean,
Perfect.
I
Just
got
drop-
both lines open.
Oh, yeah, we are live, so if you can one at a time, just drop out of G Plus before it ends, and you're forced to all do it at once. Just that'd be great, because then we can keep the conversation going. Marvelous. Anyway, we'll carry on with housekeeping. We've done axial rotation. Any evidence, as John brought it up, of the R value? That's Earth radius.
Hiya, Nathan.
Hello. Sounding good, one deck. Sounding good.
Deck. How are you doing?
Very well. You sound clearer too. I'm very happy to hear your voice.
No, there's no evidence for the R value because if it changes with the weather,
Yeah,
how can
just
you have one in the
from
first
that
place?
gas pressure.
That was beautiful, man. That was beautiful. Thanks, Tenth. Go ahead, one deck.
I was just saying on the gas pressure.
You know, you're breaking up
Tenth brought
now.
up.
You
I've
were
been
good. Now
talking
you're
to
breaking up.
You were anti-flat earthers. Can you hear me all right?
Not really. For about 3 seconds we do, and then you go all distorted once you get into your actual point.
Right. No worries. I'll come back again.
Any evidence of the R value, though? I know Tenth was answering. Earth radius. Any evidence thereof? It's used to beg the
No
question. It's used to beg the
Well,
question
the
of
Earth-
Oh, God.
If the Earth was a sphere with a radius of 39, 59 miles, then every horizon distance measurement could be no more than 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. Simple. But is that the case, though?
So what I need you to do is my payment details have expired in G+. Can you see that it says this call will end in 2 minutes? It's because I cancelled the credit card, didn't I? So therefore it hasn't taken the next payment for G+. You got... Oh, I'm off. You guys talk amongst yourselves. I was just about to say, you're listening to my conversation that I'm having with my wife, and I thought I was on mute. Sorry. You talk amongst yourselves. My bad.
Be evidence, surely.
Where is the evidence?
It's in my pocket.
It must have some evidence, surely.
Haven't
I
you
haven't
heard
seen
the
any
evidence? The evidence is that you don't have evidence.
That checks out.
They teach it in schools. It must be correct.
Now, isn't that the thing, One Deck? They teach it in schools. And that was what made me turn, because I'm like, everything I learned in school, it's not scientifically validated? What the heck?
Surely they're not teaching lies to our children.
I assume that's where my G Plus has ended. I might get it back in this live show. So for anyone watching live, this isn't normally this crap. Actually, it has been this crap over the last couple of months. I don't know what I'm even lying for. But anyway. You can still
That happened with my credit card, too. My credit card was compromised, and everything I had on auto pay, I got hammered with late charges.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
I lost my wallet and cancelled my card.
Oh God, what have I done? What have I done? What have I done?
Wallet, so
let's get it back on track. Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
Negative. What is the sun, first of all? How can we have distance to something we don't even know what it is?
I know there's plenty of people out there that want to be gurus of what the sun is and how it works and how it operates, though, isn't there?
Oh, yeah, we heard them all yesterday.
Is it a physical thing, the sun, you reckon?
Well, you could get a suntan from it.
Can you get a suntan from a rainbow?
No, I've never been multicolored tanned.
I don't think we can measure distances to rainbows.
Okay, right, we're there. I've managed to get my wife roped into just resubscribing to G Plus Premium. So, guys in masturbators who've just gone to the effort of joining Discord. I mean, at least you join now. I mean, but we can actually go back into the link that I've just published in, what's it called? Masturbators.
Maybe I'll hang in Discord for the day.
You can do whatever you like. But anyway, the link's there if you want to join.
We can do Discord, we can do G+, we can do Gilded. We've got everything, man.
But what we can't do is get the distance to the sun, right, One Deck?
Just let me check the...
Well, it's changed throughout the set.
I just joined you.
Perfect. That's it. We're good. We're good. Everything's okay. We're back on track. That was only about 3 or 4 minutes interruption because of me and my credit card.
Yeah, that interruption brought stories of canceled cards, which...
That's okay. These things happen. I like to be able to know in my own mind that I can resolve the problem while we're live. You know what I mean? Get back on track, and hopefully there's not that much interruption, which there hasn't been. It's been 2, 3, maybe 4 minutes now. But with distance to the sun, we've just going to draw a line under and ask a farcical question just to get everyone back in the mood. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Is that a joke?
No, if you're gonna make up all the other stuff and can't prove it, you might as well make that one up because you can't prove that one either.
Yeah, that word in there, presupposed, is a big giveaway.
Chocolate, we have volcanoes and stuff. Where does the lava come from? Gotta come from the center of the earth.
Not even claimed to come from the centre of Earth in their rhetoric. It's claimed to come from the ring of fire, which is tectonic activity, the rubbing together of plates. Well, you've got little pockets that get created through that friction, according to their rhetoric, and those pockets will make their way to the surface. But it's all based around tectonic claims, not centre of Earth. There's no magma coming from the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth pumped up to the surface. That's just nonsense. That's not even part of their rhetoric.
I was told that yesterday. What are you talking about? I was talking to somebody. He said, "You moron! There's got to be a molten iron core because we have lava, we have volcanoes. So maybe
well, they're just
they're
wrong. Well, they don't
instituting
understand
it."
their own rhetoric. Go on, whoever
Yeah,
it
but
was
Neil-
from Discord.
Yeah, it was me or Discord.
It's Neil. It's Neil in Discord.
No, I'm done. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, if they don't have R, then they don't have a globe Earth, then they can't have a molten iron core at the center of something that doesn't exist. So the R destroys it, the lack thereof.
Any evidence you can acquire an elevation angle measurement from a curved baseline?
Well, no,
No,
that
they
well,
don't even.
that's
They don't even do it from a curved baseline.
just automatically requires a horizontal baseline. It wouldn't exist without one.
Correct. As covered earlier with the begging the question, proof of nothing perspective hijacking curve calculator depiction on screen. Any evidence you can have gas pressure without a container?
We're
This
still
is
waiting.
definitely.
Go on, John.
I was going to say this is definitely a tricky point for them because they want to make sea level curved but eye level straight. The anti-flat earthers, so they're in kind of a catch-22.
They haven't got either.
The problem is in the celestial navigation books. We'll come back to the last housekeeping question, but the eye level horizontal, which is fictitious using a spirit bubble, they don't align that with sea level. They take that to the equatorial plane, which is another plane. So even in the way they do it, they're saying it's got to be flat. But in the pictures, they draw that dotted line saying surface.
Just do a quick plug because I'll forget to do it and we're actually live when I've seen this plug come through from QE. So tomorrow, that's the 10th, at 6 p.m. US Central, that's 12 a.m. UK. There's going to be QE Live, The Treatment, Baltard's PhD, Rob Perks, and Norm, the Nitwit Engineer, Part 3. That'll be live on the Quantum Eraser channel. So be here or be Sphere on the Quantum Eraser channel tomorrow if you're watching this live. That's Thursday the 10th of November, 6 p.m. US Central.
So back to what John was saying and what they show in the celestial navigation books and what they show on the Earth curve calculator image that you had up. The eye line horizontal level is associated with the equatorial plane when they draw the dingleberry. But in the Earth curve math image, it doesn't show that. It shows the dotted surface line. One and the same. No need for the bun on top or the bun on the bottom. Just the burger.
Yeah, they're putting you where it's linked, isn't it? They're putting you at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth on a plane with you looking through, 3,000 miles of rock, right? To look through it at the celestial sphere that's represented in the celestial sphere model without a globe in it. You don't need the globe. In fact, it makes things very, very difficult.
Well, this is why they bring in the Haversine formula, as John has put, a transformative equation, so that the arc that the protractor makes of that angle can be reified as where the navigator is with his boat.
Yeah, but if the orders were not to move Santiago, then why was he moved?
Your orders are always followed, and Santiago wasn't to be touched. Then why would it be necessary to transfer Santiago off the base?
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
Go on, chocolate. I like it.
Did you order the code red? So, gonna get lost in this few good men flashback if we're not careful. Right, so the point is, If Earth is a spherical surface, then why is it necessary to apply a transformative equation to the surface you're measuring? It would already be spherical if it was spherical. Why transform it into a sphere if it's a sphere? Why transfer Santiago off the base if you've ordered everyone not to touch him? It's that simple. It's a contradiction. It doesn't make any sense.
I think they use that formula as well when surveying large areas. They measure straight lines and angles and then use a formula to turn it into a spherical sphere. I mean, they do it in every single way possible because they have to keep the globe dream fairy tale alive.
Well, it's rather easy to do. John turned his kitchen floor into a sphere.
Hold on, Eli's trying to get a word in from Discord. Go on, Eli.
Yes. What necessitates the use of the formula?
Cup your
Like,
mic.
is
Cup
it
your mic.
necessary?
Cup your mic with your hand.
Is it necessary? The formula.
Yes, your audio's terrible. It's
No, I got
necessary
his
to cup
question.
your mic.
I got his question. He's saying, is it necessary to have that formula? No, it wouldn't be if the Earth was actually a sphere.
But it is necessary if you want to turn your flat kitchen floor into a sphere.
Exactly. If
Or
you've
it
got
may be necessary to turn a apparent dome into a usable, in reality. So maybe what it's applying to isn't what they think they're applying it to.
They're applying it to a flat.
That's what I'm getting at. Because if it is necessary, then it's useful for something. Not that the Earth is a sphere. I mean, because if it is used, saying, well, you need it to I mean, if we need it in celestial navigation, then
No,
we need the formula.
no, it's not needed.
It's
They
not
need-
even mentioned.
Oh, okay. I was asking. That's what I was. Okay, cool.
No, you
I thought it was needed.
No. You think the Haversine formula is required?
No. A right angle is required, a 90 is required, and an angle is required. And then they get the co-altitude by subtracting the elevation angle from 90. And that distance of the co-altitude times 60 nautical mile gives them the distance from GP of the sun or star to the observer. But that works on a flat plane.
Because say
so they
every
need to
bit
make
that's
it
just
work.
described that's actually done prior to saying, oh yeah, we can transform this angle we've just measured off a flat plane and this circle we've just drawn on a flat plane into a sphere. No, that's definitely not required.
Well, after you take the angles, you can actually transform it into anything, as one of the ballers was so happy to argue for, that it could be any shape after you get the angles from the flat plane.
Yeah,
Right.
but wouldn't you have to do it to dupe the masses?
Well, you need a flat plane to do it is the point, Neil. The starting point, the requirement, the prerequisite to make an assertion that you're on a sphere is that you measure a flat plane. And then you utilize the measurements from a flat plane to give you your assertion of a sphere. For example, on screen now, you've got Alberuni's dip angle measurement to the horizon, formerly known as Earth curve, debunked by the Black Swan, a geometric limitation marked at C. You've also got H. What's H? It's the height of the mountain. How did we get H? How did Alberuni get H? Well, he needed an angle. He needed two. He needed the difference between them, and they were both taken from a flat plane. Now, it's not depicted here, but what Alberuni did was derive the height by moving back or moving forward, I forget which, and taking two triangles and getting the difference between them, using trig to get the height. Something we were all taught in high school. Do we all remember this? Right angle triangles? That's what he's using. He's got two of them if he gets closer. Well, that measurement of an angle requires a flat plane. So his starting point is acquire h from a flat plane. Once you've got your flat plane measurement of h, go up the mountain and ignore the fact you've just measured a flat plane to get the height, and assume that the horizon is a physical geometric limitation to your view, dipping away from you at height, elevation. Therefore, using a second triangle with a line that's been relinquished by our anti-flat Earth opponents, who tell us we'll never expect to see the geometric horizon. Nobody's expecting to see the geometric horizon. The geometric horizon only exists in maths. Meanwhile, Al Bruni's got a nice, perfectly straight line for his trig to do triangles to get his R value, hasn't he? A straight line that, well, atmosphere, no atmo day. Point is,
That's the same.
point is,
Sneaky
his
bastard.
first step was flat Earth. He had to get h, that's the height. He needed a flat Earth to do it. It couldn't be done any other way.
Well, that's also what Eratosthenes did. Was he had the well in Siam and the obelisk in Constantinople or whatever, 500 miles away, and he used the angle to the sun to claim the Earth was a sphere.
Nathan, I got a picture in Master D for you that.
Okay.
So you can see here, you've got 3 images: equator, latitude, North Pole, and it's showing Earth as a disk. The globe is a surplus to requirement, as you've put it. And the angles are coming not from the celestial sphere that's surrounding this disk, but the plane we live on.
So you're telling me they're criticizing us with a flat Earth model that they use? Wow.
Hold up, model.
That's correct.
Do we
Called
live
the
in
flat
a
Earth.
model?
No, it's the flat Earth they're using.
So let me
Why
get
does
this
everybody
straight. The
use
globe
models?
is flat, and it was measured like that.
Because one deck says it like that.
Can we move on?
But no, I like one deck to read that poem because it's pertinent to the point.
Yeah, well, after I researched it, I came to the conclusion that the globe must be flat because it was measured like that. And I found out with my research that the globe is flat because the Greeks all knew that.
Wow.
Those Greeks knew everything, huh?
Can you elaborate?
Well, they measured it with sticks and shadows. I mean, the Earth must be flat for horizontal shadows. Al-Biruni, he knew the globe was flat. He measured the height of a mountain like that. And when I was a sailor navigating the sea, the surface of the ocean appeared very flat to me. Navigation on the surface of our Earth, all achievable without one little use of a curve.
Thank you very much. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Which gravity? You talking Newtonian? You talking Einsteinian? Or are we talking flat Earth gravity?
Mathematical construct of imagination with absolutely no experimental validation.
The gravity 7 years ago was the claim that mass attracts mass. Mass doesn't attract mass. You can debunk that by showing gas behavior. Now, further to that, you've got Einsteinian, which, strictly speaking, I think was debunked within the last 50 years by quantum mechanics, but technically speaking is still current rhetoric for heliocentrism. There's no incorporation of quantum mechanics behind the bullshittery of pseudoscientists just using that vernacular. But that aside, the current rhetoric of gravity is the bending of a conceptual medium, fourth dimensional in nature.
Are you talking
it's
about
not
Bell's
real.
inequality?
Hold on, it's not real then. It's all fake.
It's a pseudo geometry of a fourth dimension we don't exist in. So on one hand, it's not fake, it's just maths. Maths is just descriptions, and this is a description of a dimension that isn't our dimension.
Hold on. It's a description of a fake place, Nathan. Come on.
It's a description of a dimension that doesn't exist and isn't our reality. We don't live in a fourth dimensional space-time reality. Time's just a concept.
Well, as far as conceptual mediums go, is there a counter space then?
The same
In
principle
reality?
applies. No, we're not living in a counter space dimension either.
How have they proved this then?
Now you're making. Hold on. You're making enemies on both sides now, Nathan.
What? Sorry, it isn't about making enemies. It's about whether or not we've got a fourth dimensional space-time, or what was the other one?
Like counter
Flat Earth
space?
gravity.
A counter space. Counter space. No, we haven't got that either.
I could take you to a channel right now that they're claiming that incoherent dielectric acceleration handles everything, and then after that, its relative density takes care of everything else. That is the reason why things go down, Nathan. What is wrong with you?
And clouds and gas. Gas doesn't go down. I said already, right? This notion of mass attracting mass, and then substituted with an incoherent dielectric acceleration, was appreciated as nonsense 107 years ago when it was superseded by Einstein, who took gravity as a word only and made it something completely different to the notion of mass attracting mass. Mass doesn't attract mass. So this idea of a downward bias, a gravitational attraction, because of the mass of Earth attracting the mass of other objects like you, and that being the explanation for why you're stuck to a ball that's spinning around in a sky vacuum, doesn't need or has no necessity to be replaced by an incoherent dielectric accelerated force that holds things down. Things aren't all going down. Some things go up.
So that's the reason why when one gentleman had the idea about clouds that nobody backed him, maybe?
Neil, you're
Yesterday?
in talking. Contextualize what you're saying, because...
Okay, yesterday when you were going through that, somebody did say, what about clouds? And nobody backed them up or pushed it. Like, yeah, what about clouds? Or what about gas particles?
Okay, so for a heliocentrist, I can't speak on behalf of those who purvey incoherent dielectric acceleration in this regard, but for a heliocentrist, they have to assert that everything's going down. Because you've got a gravitational force, a force that gives you a measurement at 9.8 meters per second, down towards the centre of Earth. Shout out to Thea Megaworty, says, I have photographic proof we live in counter space. No, you don't. Thank you for the super chat, though.
Just so Adam can get in here, if Adam's got a chance, there was an interesting point that the baller brought up yesterday about the incoherent dielectric acceleration and their claim of lightning causing things to float. Adam might be better at articulating it than me, though.
There,
if he's here. If he's not, I'll give it a go.
Go ahead. I think he's around.
Well, the claim was made that lightning is changing the polarity of objects, causing them to float, right? It's changing the direction of down within that lightning strike. And all the heliocentrist had to do was point out that during a lightning storm, the polarity changes for a longer period than just the lightning strike. It flips through almost the entire storm. So if their assertion was true, everything would be flying up as soon as you started hearing thunder.
That's correct.
Wait, that's the new shit now? That lightning is causing a reverse polarity that makes things float?
No,
Don't
Really?
need
they got
reverse
their ass
polarity
handed
in
to them.
lightning.
That's what happened.
Yeah, some things go up, some things go down, some things remain neutral. This is specific to the medium that they're in. Further to that, items of a particular type can behave differently in a different medium. Some objects will fall through air and float on water. Some items will fall through air and fall through water. Some items will float up through water and fall down through air. Some things will remain neutral in air. Some things will remain neutral in water. In other words, if you want to describe a phenomena, if you're so inclined because you want to be the arbiter of your audience's viewpoints, then understand what the phenomena actually is. When they describe gravity, a downward vector, a bias, whatever they're going to call it, anti-flat earthers, globe believers, and Etherians alike, they're describing a bias down that we don't actually experience. So what do we experience? Well, I've just described it. Anthony summarized it specifically as his phenomena when he did his egg experiment. That is to say, what are we trying to study the cause of? What's the effect? Some things go down, some things go up, some things remain neutral. Yeah, that is an effect you can observe in nature. In air, in water, in whatever medium. It is medium specific. It's relative to the density. Now, this got labelled as a result of literally years of debate and discussion between Arwin and Anthony Riley. Fantastic job they did. Them were the days when this was productive discussion and debate between internal members of this team. And where we arrived at the end was with scientific validity to what we state and what I've just summarised. Not thanks to me, but thanks to Arwin and Anthony and Quantum Eraser, who helped formulate the scientific prediction known as a hypothesis to go forth and validate the cause of the effect we observe in nature. That is, some things go up, some things go down, some things remain neutral. That is an effect that has been validated by way of systematic experimentation that I have done. But Anthony was the first, to my knowledge, to put it into an actual hypothesis, vary a presumed cause of the effect, and cause the effect, validating his alternative hypothesis. That's science that he did. Now, some people mock Anthony because he stuck on a white coat and hammed it up. Good for you, Anthony. Because that's what it needed. Mock the white coat. Because that's what some numpties take as scientific validity. Well, here's my white coat. I've said it. I've got it reported. It's in the news. It's got a headline attached to it. The science they were talking about is fake. No. Does it have a viable independent and dependent variable that you can actually vary to cause the effect you're studying? That's your dependent variable. And if you're studying it, better be damn well happening in nature for you to ponder why it's happening. Because if it isn't happening in nature for you to ponder why it's happening, there's a good chance a man's generated that effect. But if you're exclusively dealing with effects we observe in nature, like things remaining neutral and other things going up and some things going down, you can assume, suppose, a cause of that effect, and then vary it to see if it causes it. See if you can induce the effect by varying a supposed cause of it. And if you do, you validate the empirical, logical framework that's offered around the scientific method. You have validated your suppositional cause and effect relationship known as an alternative hypothesis. Stated simply as if A, then B. If my presumed cause, then the effect I will study, or am studying. Backed up by a null. That is to say that at the end of this process, you're going to get a positive result either way, because the null is if A, my supposed cause of this effect I'm studying, then not the effect I'm studying. So if you vary something you suppose causes the effect you're looking at in nature, and it doesn't cause the effect, you put a tick next to the null, because that statement is then proven true. If A, not be. Now, obviously,
does
you're not
any-
trying to directly test that. You're not trying to prove the null. You're not trying to prove what doesn't cause things. You're trying to prove what does, like Anthony did with the egg. Sorry, go on, whoever that was.
Well, I was going to ask, does any of the claimed sciences of astrophysics, astrology, astronomy, whatever, do they have any hypotheses they can test?
No, none whatsoever. I'd also like to add that even during like, you know, a mean storm, the thing that's being manipulated there is the medium, right? The storm itself, like, is affecting the air that we live in, so it might affect at least some readings when we're measuring things for whatever reason during these storms. So even then, it would be the medium that is being affected by something.
The Omega Word, he says, I posted proof in Discord. Maybe he's serious. Says Cope. Winky face. You're going to have to tell us about it. If you say you've got photographic proof we live in counter space, Theo, then feel free. It's a nature of the Earth direct claim. I'm more than interested. As for, well, some things never change. I have no idea how to get what you've got from Discord. What I see is what you see on screen, which is a list of people in the voice chat. So even if you do get in, I'll still not be able to find it. I'll have to ask one of my panel members to dig it out and post it in Skype. But I'm more than happy to hear your claims of photos of things from counter space. If you say you've got proof of it, I'm definitely going to... Go on.
Scientific evidence of a place that runs counter to the space we experience. I just want to let that sink in.
Thank you for the super chat, though. Really appreciate the support, Theo. Really appreciate it. But on the topic that we've just literally been covering, is there any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
Viable? Nah. Because if it was viable, then they could then perform an experiment to validate it, right? I don't think they've done that. Unless you want to count them sending a spacecraft to hitting an asteroid in the vacuum of space, then yeah, maybe. But if not,
What's
then
sad
not
is
sure.
if an anti-flat Earth is... Sorry, Chuck.
No, I'm done. I'm just talking shit.
Yeah, if a globe earther was here, they would say, "Wait a minute, what's that funky little word that you put on the end of that? You added that yourself. Verifiable. Like, give me a citation with not verifiable. What is it? What'd you say? A valid hypothesis,
Viable.
basically.
Viable.
Yeah, viable.
Viable. And they would literally turn this place into a dookie show, saying that that's not what Google tells them. The word viable isn't in there. We're just making that up. They're just playing semantics.
Hello,
So that's because they don't know what a hypothesis is. If you know what a hypothesis is, then you know that a hypothesis is, as is always outlined in this show, you see an effect happen in nature, you assume its cause, and then in your hypothesis, there's the assumption of what causes the effect that you saw in nature, and then you're going to move on to experiment using the independent variable that you supposed in your hypothesis to cause the effect. So if you're not doing that, then whatever you're doing isn't valid. It isn't a valid hypothesis if it isn't set up this way.
Yeah, therefore it isn't science. And the claim is we've got scientific evidence for counter space, ether, more importantly, gravity. But unfortunately, there is no scientific evidence for gravity, but that's where I'm going to round out this show. So if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So another massive thank you to all of you smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on a premiering stream. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!